Welcome to Minutes with Lynnis, brought to you by Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond. Embark on this journey with me, Lynnis Woods Mullins, your certified holistic living and wellness expert for women over 40, as we explore tips for an ever-growing mind, body, and spirit in just a few minutes. Hey everyone, it's Lynnis, and welcome to Lynnis Minutes, and welcome to the Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond Facebook group. If this is your first time listening to Lynnis Minutes is a brief show where I give tip, tools, and techniques about how to be well in your mind, body, and spirit within just a few minutes. And today we have with us a wonderful guest. But before we get to Dr. Karina, I wanted to first let you know how awesome the Wellness Woman Spa Day was this past weekend. Unbelievable. The testimonies that I got were so affirming that this is something that I will be doing on a more frequent basis. We had women there from the ages of 55 or 56 to 70. The 70-year-old looked like she was 50, but it was just amazing. And I was getting feedbacks like, this has changed my life forever, that it was transformative, that it was relaxing, that they felt renewed. It's a wonderful experience. And I know we're going to be doing another one towards the first of the year, and I'll let you know when that's going to be. I'm also considering doing one in Florida and Washington, D.C. So if you have a group of women in your city or state that you think might be interested in going to a Wellness Woman Spa Day, message me and let me know. We might be able to work something out, because I am considering going to places outside of California to do this spa day because so many women want to go. Now, let's talk about our topic today, which I think is awesome and so apropos after all the things that I learned this weekend from the women that were with me. I have with us, I just love her energy. And Dr. Karina, you'll have to pronounce your last name for me. Pronounce it, because I know I don't want to destroy it.
It's Klumchuk.
Klumchuk. Dr. Karina Klumchuk. Is that right?
Yes, but Dr.
Okay.
K or Dr. Karina is fine.
Okay, Dr. K or Dr. Karina is fine. I'm going to go with Dr. Karina. She has an awesome background, and the way she's able to help all people is just excellent. She's an integrative physician and founder of Kai Wellness. She actually has a center in Southern California that I'm sure she'll tell you about, where she treats people, but she's full of wisdom when it comes to how to embrace where you are in life in general. But in particular, we're going to be talking about that so-called midlife crisis and how it can be an actual personal liberation. So thank you so much for being with us today, Dr. Karina. Tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be an integrative physician and why this is such a passion of yours.
Lynnis, thank you so much for having me on. It's such a treat and honor to be with you today and speaking with your audience. So to answer your question, this was a calling. It wasn't anything that I actually planned or orchestrated. It came through a meditation to me, the inspiration to get into integrative medicine. And this is after years and years of practicing various modalities. I was involved in yoga therapy and counseling psychology, and I was teaching for a period of time, and none of it quite felt like I was fully living my true purpose. And in an inspired moment, it came to me what I needed to do. And I had never felt that kind of certainty like I did in that moment. I was meditating on top of Cathedral Rock in Sedona, a very inspired place to begin with.
I love Sedona.
It's a magical, magical spot.
Yes.
And I had this vision of a black onyx table with a single acupuncture needle, kind of slow motion falling onto it. And it came with absolute clarity that I needed to move from my home base in Boston and the East Coast and come out west and study and start this practice.
I love it. And I love the idea that you went to Sedona. Maybe that will be the next place of my retreat after we go to Costa Rica, is Sedona, because that is such a high vibrational place. So tell us, why is it that you look at the midlife crisis as a form of liberation? Where does that come from?
That can be kind of a radical viewpoint. Often it's dreaded. And I hear more than anything people speaking about the misery of it. And it's interesting to think of it as liberation, because what I have witnessed over and over and over in my patients and friends and family and myself is that what comes through is a way of being authentic in the world that wasn't available before. And it comes through a series of trials and tribulations that can be very uprooting and full of upheaval and difficulty as the old skin sheds. There's all this stuff, all this gunk that we accumulate throughout our lifetime, and we just stuff it into a duffel bag and carry it around. And it gets heavy and burdensome. And right around age 40, with the return of Uranus, if anybody's into astrology, there's this massive awakening and complete and total shift out of the old skin and into something that's a lot more empowered. And especially for women, this is the time when we get our voice. Around the later 30s, some women, it starts in the mid 30s. It starts to come kind of slowly, more sensitive. Those who are more sensitive start to feel it and start to speak up for their truth, for what they really want. Whereas before, it was all about, oh, my role as a daughter, my role as a mother, my role as a wife, my role as a, et cetera, at work. And suddenly something breaks. And to me, it's like the cracking of an egg for a new chick to hatch, or perhaps the emergence of a butterfly from the cocoon of a caterpillar. Those are really, really appropriate analogies. Something really incredible emerges.
I do. I absolutely believe that. And I've spent a lot of time in the last 10 years talking with women from 40 on up. And actually, some of these women have been with me for 10 years. They might have started with me at 45 and now they're 55. And the metamorphosis, the caterpillar into the butterfly thing in midlife is just amazing. Because the other thing that I've witnessed too, that in general, the whole movement of women over 40 being viewed as valuable and beautiful and emerging and all those kinds of things that we haven't heard before, because back in the day, 50, 60 years ago, when you were over 40, you were basically getting ready to, getting ready for retirement, and that would be it. And you're just going to sit in the rocking chair, take care of grandchildren, and that's it. Now I see women, planning trips and traveling by themselves in some cases, starting second careers, going back to school and getting the degrees. This past weekend, there was a couple of interesting stories. One woman, she was 70 and just recently went through a divorce and now living in an apartment. And she said she felt like she had been reborn after spending that time with other women. Another woman retired and always wanted to go and finish her degree. And at the age of 63, got her degree, something she's already wanted to do. It's so interesting. To me, as I always like to say, midlife doesn't mean no life. Midlife means an opportunity to really thrive and do the things that you've always wanted to do, that maybe you've put off time. So for women in my group, because a lot of women in my group, as I told you, are 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond that, what kind of things should they be thinking about from a wellness perspective in terms of caring for themselves as they go through this metamorphosis?
So that's an excellent question, and it's a multi-pronged approach. So as I practice and facilitate for people who come to me for this kind of guidance, I always suggest that it's something that requires care at various levels and through various access points that account for the body, the mind, and the spirit. So to start with the most dense, the body, physically, it's essential to prioritize self-care that's in line with the individual needs, because everybody's a little bit different. All our bodies are a little bit different. We certainly, like any plant, we need love and sunshine and water. We need nutrition. So getting really excellent nutrition, eating seasonally, eating locally, organically, in order to provide the sustenance that our bodies need. Getting rest, prioritizing sleep, not prioritizing watching TV at night, but prioritizing a wind down routine that involves perhaps lighting some candles, taking a bath, doing some meditation, maybe some self-massage with some essential oils that are just soothing and calming and delicious, self-love to the body. So on the mental plane, I think that this is a time that calls for great amount of social support, having loved ones around, and working with someone one-on-one. Perhaps there's so many different types of therapists right now who are just wonderful, wonderful resources to have available. And it's, I think the old paradigm used to be, oh, there's something wrong with me, I need therapy. I'm seeing that shift radically. Right now, it's like, oh, I deserve to have this incredible enhancement to my lifestyle, which is the opportunity to be with someone who will be helpful and guided and supportive, because there's a lot of changes and shifts that we have to navigate through these transitions.
I like the idea of you recommending going to a psychologist or someone that you can talk to, because the way I look at it too is that we are the sum total of all of our experiences. And because we are women and have a tendency to be the nurturers and the caregivers and everything else, very rarely do we give ourselves time to data dump all the experiences and things that have happened and how they've impacted, just talk it out and get it out of our systems. We might do a little bit here and there, but having someone that's there just for us to talk to and to get it out, and perhaps someone that can give you some suggestions on how to work through some of the emotional baggage that you know you need to unpack, go through and get rid of in most cases. And when you're in midlife, this is the ideal time to do that, because there is a renewal that begins to come into your awareness that's available to you if you're ready to do that kind of thing. Now, when it comes to our bodies, you know, the whole menopause thing and all that kind of stuff, what about the don'ts? What are some things from, you know, from your experience in working with women that we shouldn't be doing while we're going through that process?
Physically, we're kind of asking a lot of ourselves, especially in this culture. A lot of hours spent working, and in order to get through the workday, pounding coffee.
That's my issue.
I'm a big proponent of the 80-20 rule. I think 80% of the time should be dedicated to really, really optimal health and self-care. And 20% of the time can be kind of debaucherous, but guilt-free.
Okay, I definitely got that 20% covered.
Yeah, so this is something to really take a lot of stock in, is when we tend to be very hard on ourselves and, oh my goodness, what do I need to cut out? What do I need to restrict? What do I need to do? Well, I would use the words, I choose health. I choose wellness. I choose peace of mind. I choose authenticity. I choose rest and comfort and peace. And the point that I really like to get across is that there's an inner wise woman in all of us. And this is kind of the spiritual component. We can access her by allowing her to speak, because she's got a lot to say. It's like the bird who doesn't sing because it has a voice, but because it's got a song.
Wow.
And this inner wise woman can guide us and tell us, each individual one of us, what it is that's working for us, what isn't, what do we need, what do we not need. And that requires some tuning into and tapping into to listen to that voice within.
There's a lot of wisdom there. I have a new brand that I'm launching called V.I.B.E Living, and it stands for V.I.B E, stands for being victorious, being intuitive, beautiful, and emerged. And I liked the I for adding intuitive, because our intuitive abilities at this stage in our life are even more fine-tuned, because we've been through a lot already. We've gained a lot of experience. And from that experience, we've also fine-tuned our wisdom. But that in between stuff that maybe we really haven't experienced yet, but we have this knowing of what is for us and what's not for us that seems to even heighten more so when we get older. And I wanted to ask you about the Crone. Some people know what the Crone is, but if you could tell us what the Crone is and what your philosophy is around Crone and how that all works with the whole menopausal stage and getting older.
I love that you asked that question. That's a word that's sometimes used in the derogatory sense. And when I'm talking about a Crone, I'm talking about this is based off of the work of Carl Jung, a psychologist and psychoanalyst who discovered, or who worked together with Freud to uncover a way to work with the unconscious through symbolism and mythology, and accessing that deeper part of ourselves through dream work. And one of the archetypes that he speaks about is the archetype of the Crone. And this is something, it's sort of this energetic that we all possess. And as children, we really, really have it, and we grow into it, sort of regrow into it from a place of experience and wisdom in the older years. And menopause is sort of a portal into the Crone energy, which is, I want to quote Susan Ann Stauffer. She says, "A Crone is a woman who has moved past midlife and acknowledges her survivorship, embraces her age, learns from the examined experience of her life, and appreciates the wrinkles on her face. A Crone is a woman comfortable with her spiritual self, intuition, and creative power." So the real essence and magic of the Crone lies in her wisdom, in her ability to navigate transition and understand the deep meaning and value of grieving that which has come to pass and ushering in the new. Because only, as we are experiencing currently in California with all these fires, only through this transformative renewal does the soil become regenerated to grow fresh flowers. And this is exactly what happens in our bodies, in our minds, and in our souls as we come into Crone energy, as we come to really own it. And this is the realm of ritual. This is the realm of ceremony. This is the realm of letting go and letting the new come in.
I love that. And something you said about owning it. I think many times, and you also mentioned about how hard we are on ourselves. Women in general are hard on themselves all the time because we're constantly being evaluated and being commented on in terms of our beauty, and now our beauty, our intelligence, all these different things that we're supposed to be. Okay. And when you get older, you have a tendency to be even harder on yourself because you're still trying to hold on to that piece instead of letting that piece go and evolving into something that is so much more whole, because you're more than just your beauty. You're also your mental acumen and your spiritual acuity as well. All those things work together into a total person, instead of just being one or the other or parts of bits and pieces. You know, I call the 20 somethings and the 30 somethings, and we were talking about this at the spa day with all these women this weekend. That time of my life, going into maybe my early 40s, was my hair on fire moment. Everything was every little thing would be like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Well, when you know, 40, 45, whatever, all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Been there, done that, or came close to that. This too shall pass. I've survived all of this. I'll survive that. It's that knowing that this too shall pass, that on the other side of these challenges is a whole nother ability and a whole nother form of breakthrough in terms of your knowing of where to go and how to do it. And I really, for me at 62, I'm having the best time of my life. And even though I've had some tragedies, I lost my dad in May of this past year, 2019. It was unexpected. He was 87, but he wasn't like really sick. It was unexpected, you know, but it was kind of like the passing of the gauntlet. My mom had died many years before, and I kind of have come into my own and also come into a knowing of provision. I am totally and completely dependent on the Creator to provide whatever it is that I can. I can't call Daddy on the phone and say, Daddy, what do you think? I mean, I could talk to him. I do talk to him, but you know what I mean. I can't physically touch and see him, kind of thing. I am, for all practical purposes, from the eyes of our human beingness, an orphan. But the difference now is that I feel like I've been elevated. This experience has elevated me into walking completely into all that I feel like I've been created to be. And that's kind of the message that I feel that you are sharing right now with the women who are the so-called crone status. And you're right, that word crone, people say, I'm not a crone, but I am a crone. And I love that idea. Now, for people who want to find out more about you and your practice, where should they go?
Well, I have a website. I don't know much about technology, but I do have a website. It's www.kaiwellness.com. And they're very, very welcome to reach out through email, info@kaiwellness.com. Phone, I'm available to speak, to text, 424-234-8024. I'm really, really open to connect. And I so love and appreciate this opportunity to be on your show and to connect with you, Lynnis. And it's beautiful. I just want to say, I want to really emphasize this last piece of your message that you just mentioned, this relationship with Creator. Mm. And this sort of, what I heard from you was an acknowledgement that life is happening for you, yes, not to you.
Yes.
For you, to awaken, to be rich and abundant and really live fully. And it's just been such an honor to witness that here in our short interaction today and to be online with you.
Well, thank you. I do have a question. I'm looking at the questions now, and I was able to figure out how to look at it without being rude and looking at my phone. So this is cool. Every day I learn something new, but learning is what keeps you young, ladies. Okay. Learning is what keeps you young. Don't be afraid of this technology. Get out and learn it. I have some things to share with you guys about that I learned this weekend. We are no longer going to be using our age as an excuse as to why we can't do what we need to do technologically speaking. I'm going to do a whole Lynnis minutes on that because I think we need to stop using that as an excuse. Anyway, I figured out how to see the questions here. And Keisha asked, Dr. Karina, do you work with women who have been diagnosed with Hashimotos?
Oh, certainly. Certainly. That is perhaps one of the most underdiagnosed issues, actually. Seldom do doctors test for thyroid antibodies, which are attacking the thyroid gland. And Hashimoto's is a very peculiar and particular form of thyroid issues, whereby what needs to be supported is the immune system and everything surrounding the thyroid gland, not I can go on and on about the particular treatment, yes, but yes, absolutely, I do.
That's interesting that she's mentioned this. That's nothing but the Creator sending me messages because I have nodules on my thyroid. And I just recently started going to a holistic practitioner before I met you. And now I'm doing some things with iodine and it's beginning to go down because mine hadn't gotten to the point where I need to have surgery. Although when I went to a traditional doctor, they said, well, we can remove the nodules, but it's on your vocal cords, so we can't guarantee that your voice will be the same. And so I thought, you know what? Hell no, you're not cutting on me. I have never had surgery in my life, not even with my kids. I'm not about to start now. So I did some research, still couldn't find what I want. And then I happened to run into someone in different venues, different people, different times about what I needed to do. And then I confirmed that with my holistic practitioner. And she said, that's absolutely right. I'm gonna get some stuff to you right away. And it all had to do with increasing my iodine intake because more than likely my iodine is low. And then to confirm that, I just sent her all my stuff, with my panels and stuff that she can run my blood and figure out, what else is missing. So I'm really looking forward to finding that out. But ladies, don't be afraid of some of these things that you're not quite sure what they are. And they're kind of like bugging you a little bit. Something is up and you need to go get it checked out. Don't be afraid of it. I knew what was wrong, but I was just looking for the right answer because, I always tell you all the time, be advocates for yourself. Find out what works best for you. If you don't want them cutting on you, there is another way. And I'm sure Dr. Karina would definitely tell you stories about that. I'm sure, right, Dr. Karina?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't necessarily have to have a pharmaceutical or something to be cut off in order to be well. That's just that's my philosophy. I'm not anti-AMA. They definitely have a place. We need our doctors too. But sometimes, I believe that we were created with all the things we need between ourselves, within our bodies, and the earth. I love that you said about eating locally and eating organically. It's so cool, so important. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. It's been wonderful to have you here.
What a treat. Thank you so much.
All right. And thank you, Wellness Women. You know what? You get to hear more of Dr. Karina on my new show, V.I.B.E. Living. We're doing a soft launch in November, and then the big launch is in January. It's a podcast where we're going to be talking about all the different things you need to do to vibe. I'm really excited about it. I have some great guests lined up. Dr. Karina is one of them. Jewel Diamond Taylor is another. Susan Taylor from Essence Magazine. Remember her? Susan Taylor used to be the chief editor in chief of Essence Magazine. She's going to be on, and more treats of wonderful women just like Dr. Karina, who are going to be sharing with you ways to be vibrant, intuitive, beautiful, and emerged. Vibe. I'm so excited about it. You'll be hearing more about it. Thanks so much for listening to Lynnis Minutes and our special segment of Sharing is Caring. If you want to come on and share something about your products and services and what you do to help women towards wellness, please message me in the group, and we'll get you on to talk about the things that you need to be doing. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you again real soon. And let me give my shout outs to my girls, Keisha, Yvette, and I think I saw, Roslyn. Hey girl, my high school girl. So good to see you all. Thanks for showing up, and thank you to all the replayers too. #replay. See you again real soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you have something to share, please comment below. For more Wellness Woman videos, be sure to click the subscribe button below and check out my Facebook group, Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond. But most importantly, don't forget to love yourself and educate, encourage, and empower your mind, body, spirit wellness.